listening to The Cell on WGRN 94.1, brought to you by the Faith Thomas Foundation. Welcome back, Faith Thomas Foundation family. I'm glad that you could join us here on The Cell again this week. We got a very special guest with us. I'll introduce her in a minute, but I want to say hello to a young lady who's been on a very long hiatus, and we missed her very much. Katie, our producer, our number one producer, is back with us this week. So hello, Katie.
Whoop, whoop. Welcome back.
Also with that is Chanel Woods, my co-host.
Hello, hello. It's a pleasure and an honor.
And it's always a pleasure, Chanel. Always a pleasure. We have with us today Dannielle Moore, and she's with Be The Match. And Dannielle, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Dannielle Moore. I am the Community Engagement Representative for Be The Match. Be The Match is an organization that is dedicated to providing marrow and umbilical cord transplantation for all patients that are in need when they are needed. When people hear Be The Match, they think I'm a dating service. Unfortunately, I do connect people, but I connect people through saving lives. Be The Match has been in existence since 1987, and our organization is really important, and we really stress the need of increasing the registry, because every day someone's having a birthday, and after your 61 first birthday, unfortunately, you are deferred off the registry. So it's really important that we try to increase the registry. There is a certain health and age guideline on being in the registry. You must be between the ages of 18 to 44. And I remember when Faith approached me back in April, she said she was so ready to join the registry.
I sure did.
And unfortunately, I had to defer her because she did not meet the age requirement. Due to medical research, our recruitment age is now 18 to 44.
Yeah.
They have found donors between the ages of 18 to 44. They provide the highest transplantation and success rate and outcome for the patient. Be The Match is really important because when someone is diagnosed, I was talking to my intern driving up here. As we were talking, I told her every 4 minutes someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. And that's really scary, but even as we talked right now, every 4 minutes someone's diagnosed with a blood cancer. And unfortunately, there's only a 30% chance there's a match in the immediate family. 70% of those people that are searching the registry rely on Be The Match. And again, that's why I stress the importance of everyone who is healthy, who meets the age requirement, to please join Be The Match. It is simple as a cheek swab. It's a living donation, so you don't have to worry about being deceased to donate. There are two ways of the donation process. One that is very prevalent today is called peripheral blood stem cells. Roughly about 76 to 80% of patients that donate in that donation process. And actually, the American Red Cross does a lot of our harvesting of that donation process. I have a lot of questions. People ask me, oh, does it hurt? Is there a cost? There is no cost to the person who's a donor. All the medical expenses are taken care of. The other method, which everyone is so fearful of because they see talk shows like The House and they sing 7 pounds, and they think what's seen in the movies or TV shows is what actually takes place with the donation process. With the bone marrow donation process, you do receive anesthesia. It's not like a bone marrow biopsy or a spinal tap where there's no anesthesia whatsoever. And again, I tell people, yes, it does. I'm not going to say that it's not a discomfort, but I tell people, let's think outside the box. Giving a little part of yourself to restore life to someone is second to none of that discomfort that you're going to endure during that day of your donation process. And even when you donate to the individual, what's so nice is after a year, if the recipient wants to, you actually have an opportunity to meet someone that you saved. And those opportunities are really great. I just tell people, cancer does not discriminate against age, race, gender, social-economic background. And if you have an opportunity to give someone a second chance at life, Be The Match is the way to do it. And it's really easy. It's a simple process. It is simple as a cheek swab. I say the need is great, the solution is simple, but you are the cure to give someone a second chance at life.
Okay.
Nice.
I just wanted to ask, I know that you're a representative, but where do you service at?
My service area is the southern and northern part of Ohio, and then I do cover the entire state of Kentucky. Our corporate office is headquarters is located in Minneapolis. So there's communications like myself throughout the United States. I myself and another colleague, we share the state of Ohio. And then I have Kentucky, and then she goes all the way to West Virginia.
Okay, because I knew that was, I was wondering if you had someone helping you or not when I had read, what areas that you do service.
No, it's just me through some wonderful volunteers working with college students. As a matter of fact, right here in Columbus at Ohio State University, I have a group called the Be the Match on Campus group, where they do nothing but outreach and awareness and recruit their peers on the college campus.
Okay. So how long have you been involved with Be the Match, and what drives you to continue to do what you do every day?
Okay. I've been with the organization, it would be 10 years come August. What motivates me is it's a very rewarding position. The fact that I feel like I'm giving back and working with some of the family members. Now, there have been some family members that I work with, unfortunately, that lost their battle. But I have a lot of family members that I work with that's actually lived long, successful, good quality life. I remember when I first started in 2008, I met a 4-month-old little boy named Noah.
Okay.
Noah was only 4 months old, and he was diagnosed with a rare genetic disease that was affected through his family. Unfortunately, his sister was not a match, so they sought Be the Match for to find a donor. So we did a donor drive at the grandmother's church, and we found little Noah a donor, and little Noah's 10 years old now.
Wow.
So he's a thriving, healthy little boy. So stories like that really motivates me every day to know that I'm making a difference and giving someone a second chance at life.
Yeah, I was doing some research, and you have 13.5 million in the registry. But what I read and found out is that only 775,000 of those are African Americans. So it sounds like there's a challenge with getting those minorities involved. So do you know why, and is there a way that other people can get involved to make sure that we increase those numbers?
Yes, unfortunately, I think those numbers are short due to misconceptions, and unfortunately, our history through medical hasn't been that great with the minority group. I know that plays a big part. I feel like it's generational, because sometimes,
Trust in doctors,
things like that. You have the Tuskegee study. You have, what's the lady? Oh, gosh, I can't think of her name. Because Oprah did her movie, Henrietta Lakes.
Oh, yeah.
So you have things like that plays a big part. But I try to tell people, this is a new age. Things are a lot different now. I know me personally, I continue to work with the African American community, which all ethnic diversity communities that I tend to work with. And through my history with Be the Match, I have come across people of different ethnic groups that have received and actually donated. So when I'm doing presentations and faith-based or working with different community groups, I have those people come so that way they can see that this person looks just like me that's been affected. It can also happen to me, but through Be the Match, they were actually cured. And it's like, but if they want to get involved, they can contact me directly. My email address is dmoore@nmdp.org. That's dmoore@nmdp.org. If they want to join the registry, which they can join online, it is bethematch.org, and the promo code that I use for the state of Ohio is Save to Match 18, all in caps. If you go on our website and use that promo code, you will get a kit in the mail where you can do a cheek swab and drop it in the mail, prepaid postage. You join right online. It's as simple as that. If you want to get involved with volunteerism, again, you can reach out to me through the email. But I know with me personally, because I know the disparity to trying to increase the African American registry, I am working more with the faith-based community. I think that's a way to go, working with a faith-based and working with a lot of the minority student groups on the college campus. I think another way to spread that awareness and try to increase that registry and try to get them more involved in the program, so we can have those donors available for those patients when they're in need.
I want to back up a little bit because, as you said, when we had our wellness and safety fair back in April at Woodward Park Community Center, you kind of told me that I was walking over there, I was all ready to get, my cheeks swabbed and sign up and everything, and she kind of said, nope. She said it nicely, but I took it as, she told me I was ineligible, but I took it at that I was too old, which I am. But anyhow, could you tell us some of the requirements, things that would prevent you?
Okay.
Such as, like you said, my age was one of the factors.
Okay.
And I know that you didn't mean no harm to me when you said that. I was just messing with you when I said, oh, you telling me I'm too old, huh? And she, got all serious on me and said, no, you're ineligible. I said, that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, because I look at it like this. The older wine is better, so you can't say that I'm too old.
Yeah, and I did like how she said, I did tell her, I said, I like how you worded that or rephrased it. But there are not just age.
No, it's not age.
But there are several other factors that can prevent a person from being a donor.
Correct.
And in addition to that, there are some factors that can prevent a person who wants to receive a match, or a donor.
Yes.
Could you tell us about that?
So basically, I'm just going to throw out some things that stand out the most because I have a book of everything. Some of our policies is very similar to blood, some of them, except for like if you had like a recent tattoo, you can donate with us. If you have a same-sex partner, you can donate to us. You can't donate blood. If you yourself had received treatment due to cancer, unfortunately, you can't donate. If you had a stroke, if you had a heart attack, just think on top of my head, those are some of the things that stand out the most. Now, if you're pregnant with child, you can still donate through the registry, but if you were called upon, unfortunately, you would just be placed on hold because you are pregnant with child. So, the 18 to 44-year-olds, I used to recruit 18 to 60. In 2012, we got approached by the organization. Doctors have found out that donors from 18 to 44 have provided the highest transplantation and success rate outcome for the patient.
Okay, I did have a young lady that I know from out of Texas, and she thought when last time I saw her that she was going to apply, to get, she has sickle cell, and she was going to apply to get a bone marrow transplant, but she was denied. So what are some of those reasons that a person that needs to receive the transplant, what are some of the factors that could fall into place there?
Because I'm not a medical doctor, I know with sickle cell disease, the only known cure is a bone marrow transplant. It's different factors. It has to be like a really severe case, from what I've been told. I mean, like a really severe case as far as being a donor. So, but just because she has sickle cell disease, someone that has it, it's not saying that you can automatically get a bone marrow transplant. It depends on the doctor.
Yeah, I think some of the things that I kind of heard about was like if their liver or their kidney, their major body organs are not,
functioning more. They're not a candidate for a transplant, and that's correct.
Okay, well, we're going to get back into this. We need to take a station identification break here. This is WGRN 94.1, and we want to welcome you, the Faith Thomas Foundation, here listening to The Cell. And before we continue on with discussing to be the match and bone marrow transplants, I want to let everyone know or remind everybody that in the month of September, the Faith Thomas Foundation will be hosting its 5th annual Red Diamond Gala, and it will be at Creekside Conference Center where we held it last year. If you attend last year, we hope that we can make this year better than we did last year. And our topic this year is cure or no cure. And Danny Moore will be there with us at that conference. So you'll have an opportunity and chance to network with her or talk to her or ask her any questions. Because the next question I'm getting ready to ask her is, what type of diseases or what type of diseases can a bone marrow cure? You know, what type of diseases can be cured from that?
Like I said earlier, the only known cure for sickle cell disease is a bone marrow transplant. Any blood disease, any blood cancer. So blood cancer would be like leukemia, lymphoma. Blood disease would be like aplastic anemia, sickle cell anemia. Even if you have like a rare genetic disease, those are diseases that can be cured by bone marrow. I get asked all the time. Unfortunately, brain cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, though bone marrow transplants does not cure any of those
I did not
diseases.
realize that.
It's only blood disease and blood cancer.
So it has
and
to be
rare
a
genetic
blood disease.
and rare genetic disorders. So just one thing I didn't touch on that wasn't asked. How do we match donors with those recipients that have cancer? So basically, when I work with people, my friend has cancer and my blood type is O negative. Your blood type is not a factor. When we are connecting bone marrow donors and recipients, it is based on your genetic background, genetically how you match. So you typically would match someone that shares your same race and ethnic group. Unfortunately, like blood, myself, I'm O negative, I'm African American. There can be a Caucasian woman that has the same blood type as me. God forbid I need a blood transfusion, that Caucasian woman can donate to me. Unfortunately, if I am struck by a blood disease or blood cancer and I need a bone marrow transplant, unfortunately, I'm an only child, so there is a 30% chance of a match in the family. But unfortunately, like myself, because I'm an only child, I would have to depend on the registry, and it would have to be someone who shares my same race and ethnic group. So that's how we match patients based on their genetic background.
I have a question when you talk about the registry. So you say that about a 30% chance that a family member does qualify. So when you ask people to register, can they say, I only want to be a donor for this XYZ person and I don't want to donate to anybody else? Or do you encourage them to be a donor for everyone or anyone?
When I'm working with the general public, I try to explain to them, even when I'm working with a family and we know we're trying to find little Johnny a match, I let them know that there is thousands of little Johnnies out here. And when I'm working with the general public, I say, hey, little Johnny needs one donor. So if we have hundreds of people come to the registry, little Johnny needs one donor, but there's thousands of little Johnnies out there. So when I'm working with people, with our bone marrow program, it is open to anybody that you match. Now, if I have worked with some people that say, well, you know what, I just want to join for a little Johnny, I don't want to get put into the registry, I direct them to the lab. And with the lab, they just have to find out from the donor their HLA, which is their genetic background, and go that route. They just wouldn't be put into that, because this is a national registry.
How long does it take to find out if you're a match or not?
So, unfortunately, it's not like a waiting list. Like if you're waiting on a kidney, there's like a level, a central level of levels to find out if you match. It's not like a waiting list. It's genetically how you match. I've personally been on the registry for 10 years. I have not been called. I have not matched anyone. So it's genetic, do you match? But for every 1 to 500 donor who joins, actually end up being a donor.
Okay, that's interesting.
So there's 3 sources that these cells can come from, right? So you have your bone marrow, the peripheral blood, and then the blood collected from the umbilical cord. Yes. So my question is, how is this stored, and how long can these cells live or last?
Okay, but most of the cells, I don't know the exact, and I apologize, how long. We have our repository in Minneapolis, and then there's cord blood banks all over the world. Unfortunately, we don't have one here in the state of Ohio. I think the closest one is Michigan, and then you have Illinois. So that I don't know, like how long it's stored, but they do have a repository that is there throughout, but if it's needed. I worked with a woman, her little girl was multi-race. Mom's Korean, dad's Caucasian. We could not find a donor in our registry for her. Okay. Although the multi-race is growing, 4% of those donors are on our registry, just 4%. Right? So you don't have a whole lot to pull. So by the grace of God, they sought the cord blood. And the baby's cord blood was from a little boy from California. Now, she's in Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay. So that's the mom knows it's a baby boy from California, but that cord blood shared the same ethnicity of the little girl, Hannah.
Question I wanted to ask is, to help it, I think, and it's a kind of play on Chanel's question, is that there's a time period that they have to prep, like if they are eligible, like if the person who's going to receive it. What are some of the steps that they have to go through before the actual transfusion?
Okay.
I mean, the blood.
So if when there's, say you're called as a potential donor, the first thing they're going to say is, do you remember joining the registry? They'll say yes, and they'll let them know. Because of HIPAA, they're only given the age and the gender and the diagnosis. They'll say, hi, Danny, do you remember joining the registry? Yes. You are a potential match for little Joey, 2 years old, male. We want you to go do a blood sample. So first you would go get a blood sample, then you'll get a call back later to say, hey, Danny, we got your blood sample, and guess what? You are that 10 out of 10 match. We want to make sure you have a 10 out of 10 match to match the individual. Would you still be willing to donate to the male that's 2 years old? I say yes. Then I go get a complete physical, because you have to make sure that you are healthy to donate to the individual. We want to make sure you're as healthy as possible. So once you go through the physical and things like that, then as they're prepping the patient, then you're going to donate. Now, you don't go to where the patient is, just like they would transport like a lung or a heart. We have carriers that take the stem cells or the bone marrow or wherever the cord blood is to that patient.
Okay, so the patient,
what would the child have to go through, the patient?
If there's so I met a woman that I work with. Her 5-year-old little boy was in need. She was blessed. Her the 3-year-old was in need. The 5-year-old brother was able to donate. So when they donated he donated to his brother. Of course, the peripheral blood stem cells, that's a 4 to 5 hours collection process. We know the child's not going to sit still. So the child actually did an actual bone marrow donation to his brother.
Okay.
So is that intravenous?
No.
That was an actual.
It was an actual bone marrow harvesting. Yes.
Wow.
But he was put under anesthesia.
Okay.
So that's why I try to get people to understand. And he said, "Oh, well, I heard that bone marrow, it hurts like hell." And I'm like, okay, where did you hear that from, and what's the process? Well, I heard they take your bone, and I'm like, no, we're not taking bones. So that is so much misconception out there. I think people get it mixed up with the bone marrow biopsy. There is no anesthesia. And they are putting a needle in your back, and there is no anesthesia. A spinal tap, when you hear baby getting a spinal tap, again, it involves the back, and there's no anesthesia. With the bone marrow donation, you are receiving anesthesia. So you're not even awake during the process. You don't see it, you don't feel it. Yes, when you wake up, that I've heard, because I haven't had one, there's some stiffness and soreness in the back. But I heard like less than a week or 1 or 2 days, you're back to your normal routine. And when you do donate, because people say, oh, I'm going to take everything with me when I die. No, you're not. When you do donate, it regenerates just like blood. After 6 to 8 weeks, your marrow and stem cells replenish back.
I guess one of the questions I had is in regards to the person who's receiving the transplant.
That I don't know. See,
do they have to receive?
I read that they have to receive chemotherapy.
They receive chemo and sometimes radiation, because what happens is they want to get rid of all the bad cells before they're getting the new bone marrow. Because the bone marrow that they're going to receive from the other person that's what I said, it's restoring and bringing it back. Because with cancer, those bad cells, you want to get rid of the bad cells.
Wow. I mean, this seems like we got so much to talk about, and the time is running out on us. So if we need you to come back to do a part 2 to continue this, would you be willing?
I sure will.
Great. Because I know that we're just touching on, we're talking about what Be the Match is. we talked about some of the things that that you could not qualify with. We talked about the various type of diseases or blood diseases that you have that it
cures.
That it's cured. But is it a 100% guarantee that it's a cure? Because I also know that there's that after the what do you want to call it? Like after you finish having the transplant, there's that period that you got to go through a year or two.
The successful, it's that 100 day. That's like you feel like after 100 days, like
yeah,
made it.
You made it.
Like everything's
and then after 5 years, you're cancer free. Once you receive the transplant.
Yeah, because I know that they still have to take medications and do some things after that.
Yes.
And I do know that Be the Match does continue to work with the patient after that happens. And I know that you touched on the expense, and I know that Be the Match does have grants, and that they do help people that are financially experience financial hardship where their insurance doesn't cover and things like that. So I just kind of wanted to get those things in there real quick before.
And you're a 501c3, right?
Yes.
So you're nonprofit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that that's great. When I kind of read up on the fact that they do offer grants, that they do help them with food, they do help pay their electric, because of the fact that they're in the hospital for various, when they're getting treated to get ready for the transplant. And then once they receive the transplant, then they still have to be hospitalized. They still can't work and they still can't do
so we
things.
call for financial assistance.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm like part 2.
Right.
I'm like part 2 because I don't feel like all my questions are
part
being
two.
answered right now, and I have so many more questions, and I know Chanel does too. She's over there, we're
chomping at the bit, right?
We're chomping at the bits. We want to get in. We got some questions, and you're so full of information.
Yes.
So we definitely have to have a part 2, and we hope that you will definitely come.
Yes.
I mean, because I'm like, what? It's time?
I think what would be great too is there's a woman here that I work with. She's African American, and this is where the part where the disparity happens. She had 12 potential African American donors. All 12 fell through. They were unavailable. By the grace of God, her brother was not a perfect match, but he was a 7 out of 10. But here it is, we are a year later, almost 2 years later, she's still doing fine. So I may even invite Nicole to talk about her experience. She had leukemia.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Could you please tell us again how any of our listeners out there could reach you?
If you want to reach me, I'm going to provide my email address. It's dmoore, lowercase dmoore, at nmdp.org. That's dmoore at nmdp.org.
And what is the Be the Match website?
BeTheMatch.org. And if they want to get a kit, the promo code is SAVE2MATCH18.
And you're going to be at our September 7th event at the Red Diamond Gala.
Yes, I will.
The topic is cure or no cure. So
to follow us on all social media outlets, it's hashtag BeTheMatch.
Okay, well, Dannielle, Danny, I know that your real name is Dannielle, and I didn't kind of convert it, but Danny,
all
we
formal.
want to definitely thank you for being here with us today. Okay, I've learned a lot, so I appreciate it. I want to say thank you for Katie and for producing today. I'm so glad she's back. Thank God. And then Chanel, it's always a pleasure to have you as my co-host.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, Danny, we're going to see you on September the 7th at our 5th annual Red Diamond Gala. Once again, that is Cure or No Cure. So thank you, Faith Thomas Foundation family, for listening to us again. This is Felice. Peace out. Well, that's the end of today's show. I want to thank you for listening to The Cell on WGRN 94.1. You can find us on Facebook or at faiththomasfoundation.org for more information on our upcoming events. Join us every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. here on WGRN.